There has been such an onslaught of disinformation surrounding the hurricanes and the federal response to those hurricanes that the President of the United States himself has to go on national television and refute some of the most absurd claims. But if you end up getting anything out of this video, please do remember to smash that subscribe button. I'm trying to make it to 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year, and I would very much appreciate your support. Now, most of you probably know that we had Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton that struck the southeast over the last couple weeks. And it doesn't matter if you talk to Republican or Democratic mayors, governors, city officials, there's been an overwhelming response that the federal government is doing a pretty good job. Now, I'm not here to say that they have done a perfect job. There is always work to be done and improvements to be made, but it doesn't matter who you talk to. The overall vibe is that the federal government has done a pretty good job, but that has not stopped people like Donald Trump, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and other people on the far right from spreading wild conspiracy theories and pushing disinformation, all as a way to score political points. So Joe Biden himself had to come out and say that these claims are stupid and they are hurting Americans. So let's go ahead and take a look at what he had to say, and then we will discuss.
Over the last few weeks, there's been a reckless and irresponsible and relentless promotion of disinformation and outright lies about what's going on. It's undermining confidence in the people in Florida, and incredible rescue and recovery work that has been undertaken. Literally, there are thousands of fellow Americans who are putting their lives at stake and putting on the line to do the dangerous work that needs to be done now. And it's harmful to those who most need the help. Quite frankly, these lies are un-American, and there is simply no place for them. Not now, not ever. Former President Trump has led this onslaught of lies. Assertions have been made that property is being confiscated. That's simply not true. They're saying people impacted by these storms will receive $750 in cash and no more. That is simply not true either. They're saying that money needed for these crises are being diverted to migrants. What the heck are they talking about? Stop it. It's outrageous. It's just not true. Now the claims are getting even more bizarre. Marjorie Taylor Greene, the congresswoman from Georgia, is now saying the federal government is literally controlling the weather. We're controlling the weather. It's beyond ridiculous. It's so stupid. It's got to stop.
Now, if I had to guess, I would think that the President of the United States has better things to do than go out there and try to refute some of the most prominent disinformation that is surrounding these events. And Donald Trump and Marjorie Taylor Greene and others should be absolutely ashamed of themselves, because when you spread disinformation like this, when you spread misinformation, American people get hurt. This is un-American stuff, just like Biden said. Americans are getting hurt. Also, people like Donald Trump can score a few political points. And then you have people over at Fox News downplaying the whole idea that somehow misinformation has become a problem. Are these people even serious? They call themselves a news organization? Let's go ahead and take a look.
And President Biden and Kamala Harris getting briefed on the Hurricane Milton, but the president wasted precious time by making it political and personal, attacking Donald Trump and other Republicans for questioning FEMA's response and accusing them of pushing misinformation.
Nobody is getting bent out of shape because people are questioning the response. People are getting angry because you are lying about the response. You are telling people that there's only $750, and that's it. Nothing else. No other resources to go around. They're telling people that if FEMA comes a-knocking, ignore them because they're trying to seize your property. Or they're trying to say that, we're taking those dollars and we're spending it on illegal immigrants. Their words, not mine. Nobody is getting upset that we have questions surrounding these responses. People should question it. People should look at how we can improve the responses to these things. But for Jeanine Pirro to just completely downplay the idea that misinformation is somehow becoming an issue is laughable. It is laughable. And lucky for us, we have people like Jessica Tarlov who can refute some of these claims. So let's go ahead and take a look at what some of she had to say.
This whole idea that even to get that $750, Trump had to get Elon Musk to set up Starlink so that they could get some cell coverage on their phone to be able to apply for the $750. I mean, if it weren't for all of these private entities, I mean, the government just wasn't there in the beginning, and they're playing catch up now.
Okay, she's going to joke around about misinformation being a problem while she is explicitly spreading misinformation right now. It was the federal government that got the first Starlink satellites on the ground to make sure that people could get hooked up online. And it's not just $750, like I've already mentioned. That is just the immediate cash that people can get now, and there are other resources that can be tapped into. So it's just laughable to me that Pirro wants to act all righteous about the type of information she is spreading when it is deliberate misinformation that is meant to help Trump. But let's go ahead and keep moving.
Well, let's be clear. The government was the one that got the first 40 Starlink satellites to get to North Carolina when Helene struck. That was the U.S. government. Donald Trump is very close with Elon Musk. He is arguably his most important backer with the $45 million a month that he does and using Twitter as a campaign bugle horn at this point. But the government was on top of that. Now, to say that what Joe Biden was doing was nakedly political removes the context of this, which is that the President of the United States of America is worried that people are listening to folks like Donald Trump, like Lara Trump. She was the one who said the $750. She was on with Dana Bash, trying to have, I guess, a nice conversation or get some hits in, put up that lie. You know, they're only getting $750. And Dana Bash had to say that's absolutely untrue. That is a lie, because that makes people think,
that's what they're getting.
No, that
right now, that's what
the
they're
lie.
getting. I was in a flood. I know how it works.
For her to claim that she has some experience in being in a flood and then, you know, she somehow is the expert all of a sudden on these matters is ridiculous. She is just lying. The $750 is the immediate cash you can get now. There are other programs in place, like the Small Business Association, which helps people with loans to get their house redone, or small businesses can tap into. There are many, many programs. It's just so irritating how indignant these people are about spreading this type of information without a care in the world that it's actually impacting real Americans.
I'm very sorry that that happened to you, but Trump and co. should not be saying that's all that you're going to get, because it makes people feel like they have no options. And if it's just going to be $750, then what's the point? The point is that will get you what you need for your immediate necessities, things like baby formula. They were making fun of, I think it was Senator Kennedy, saying they're concerned about tampons. It's all about tampons with them. Well, sometimes you need feminine care items. That's what that was about. The Marjorie Taylor Greene thing with they controlled the weather. First, I thought she was talking about Jews again. I know we're powerful, not that powerful. Then it turns out it's the federal government. And Congressman Chuck Edwards from North Carolina had to release a huge statement about the disinformation of this because, again, his constituents are believing these crackpot Republicans who are being nakedly partisan about this. Secretary Buttigieg had to call up Elon Musk and say, hey, buddy, maybe you could stop tweeting about these things because you're spreading lies. And guess what? The mark of a true narcissist, someone so easily swayed, Elon Musk immediately backtracked because he was so happy because Secretary Pete gave him a call.
The only person who took Marjorie Taylor Greene seriously was Joe Biden.
No, then why did Trump?
For Greg Gutfeld to just laugh at this stuff is disgusting. Marjorie Taylor Greene was out there claiming that Democrats could control the weather and that we were somehow pushing these hurricanes towards red areas as a means of election interference. That is something that Marjorie Taylor believes and is something that she has said and continued to say in the wake of these hurricanes. And people believe this stuff. That is why it hurts Americans. That is why this disinformation and misinformation is so dangerous. Because when people start believing that there's not any money left or that there's only a tiny bit of money, then they're less likely to apply for these resources, thinking probably, well, what's the point then? $750 isn't going to help me rebuild my home. That is why this is dangerous. That is why it's so important that we do better, that Marjorie Taylor Greene takes some responsibility and says that these things are not true, because it hurts Americans. It shouldn't be that difficult. And I wanted to show you this story that was so heartbreaking. This guy called into the Dan Abrams show, and he's talking about how his father-in-law won't take anything from FEMA because he thinks they're going to seize his home. Let's take a look.
My father-in-law lives just outside of Asheville, North Carolina, and he was badly damaged by Hurricane Helene. And he has refused all FEMA help because he's a hardcore Trumper. And he literally believes that if he accepts anything from FEMA, they're going to take his house. I don't understand how so many people are under the spell of this freaking con man. I don't understand it.
Well, it's absolutely heartbreaking about your father-in-law. I'm so sorry to hear it. I hope. Man, it's hard to even imagine it. I mean, he lost almost everything, and he's refusing all help from the federal government and complaining to us that he doesn't have food, that he doesn't have the stuff he needs, and yet he won't accept the help. What the hell are we supposed to do? We're not in a position to be able to fly across the country and help him. Yeah. There's people begging us to get him to accept help, and he won't do it. Wow.
And I guarantee you, I'm not the only one. I guarantee you, I'm not the only one.
I wish there was something I could say as to, I don't know. Does he have access to any electronics where you could send him some information debunking this, and that he might?
We've done all of that. We've done all of that. We've sent him all the FEMA bulletins. We've sent him all the stuff from the fact checkers. He doesn't believe it. He thinks it's all. He just believes Trump. Literally, Dan. It's a cult. He's a cult member. I'm sorry to say it. He's a cult member. And he's my father-in-law, and it sucks.
That is absolutely heartbreaking. We have a 70, 80-year-old man who won't accept help from the federal government because he has believed Donald Trump's lies. Not only is it devastating because he isn't getting the help that he is needing, but it is obviously tearing this family apart. Donald Trump should be absolutely ashamed of himself. He is an un-American asshole. He has made the political calculation that he will continue to spread these lies, that he will continue to spread these conspiracy theories about the federal government, all in an effort to piss his supporters off so much that they'll turn out and vote for him in November. That is the calculation that Donald Trump has made. He doesn't care about the individuals on the ground. He doesn't care about these people who are believing this stuff that he says, that are in dire straits right now and could very much need the help. Donald Trump only cares about himself. And everybody else who is spreading these lies and these conspiracy theories, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, they should be ashamed of themselves as well. Because they've made the calculation that I can either make a buck or score some political points. So I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing. This is despicable behavior. It is un-American, and these people should be disqualified from office because they are hurting the American people. And when you are an elected official, it is your job to look out for the American people, not pump their head full of delusion, all in an effort to score some political points or wins. This is absolutely heartbreaking stuff. This misinformation and disinformation is wreaking havoc on our society, and we are seeing the impacts of it right now. And we have to do better. And these are the things that we should remember before we go vote in November, guys. I'll leave it there. If you got anything out of this video, please do remember to smash that like button and subscribe. Maybe share it with a friend or two. I'd very much appreciate that. Like I said, I'm trying to make it to 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year, and I would very much appreciate your support. If you want to see one of my other videos on the Hurricane Helene response, go ahead and watch that video on the screen now. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on the next one.